You ever watch someone's career implode in real time like a controlled demolition? Except nobody told them they're holding the detonator. Yeah, that's Jason Thor Hall, better known as Pirate Software, and bro just speedran his way from beloved internet dad to the most roasted man on Twitch. We're talking about a guy who went from 15,000 average views to 4,000, lost over 350,000 subscribers across platforms, and somehow managed to turn himself into the internet's favorite punching bag. All because he couldn't say two simple words: I'm wrong. And honestly, watching this unfold has been more entertaining than anything he streamed in months. So how exactly does someone fumble a multi-million-dollar career this spectacularly? Well, buckle up, because this isn't just a story about one bad take. This is a masterclass in how ego, arrogance, and the inability to admit fault can turn you from internet royalty into digital roadkill faster than you can say,
"When I worked at Blizzard."
Now, to truly understand just how hard Pirate Software fell, we need to talk about how high he was flying. This dude was basically the internet's favorite game dev uncle. He dropped these wise motivational shorts about imposter syndrome and game development that hit different. People genuinely looked up to him. His YouTube shorts were pulling millions of views, his Twitch streams were packed, and he even broke the hype train record multiple times. The man was on track to become a legend alongside creators like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. But then 2025 rolled around, and apparently Thor decided to choose violence against his own career. It all started with a World at Warcraft hardcore raid that went about as well as a chocolate teapot. For those of you who don't know, in World of Warcraft hardcore, when your character dies, it's gone forever. Like, weeks of grinding just evaporated. So when things got dicey during this raid, what did our boy Thor do? He ran. Just straight up abandoned his teammates like he was late for a Blizzard reunion dinner. 2 players lost their characters because of it, and instead of showing even a shred of remorse, Thor decided to gaslight everyone and blame his teammates.
You instantly ran. You didn't even look
As
back.
much as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
I'm not angry at all.
You overpulled 2 packs. You overpulled 2 packs and a boss. I had 1,400 mana left. I had to spend all of that mana to try and put it on Blizzard to save you guys in the first place, and nothing left. You weren't paying attention to party resources. You overpulled, and you weren't paying attention to where the boss was. That's not on me.
The audacity was honestly impressive in the worst way possible. But here's where it gets spicy. When other streamers called him out, asking him to just apologize like a normal human being, Thor doubled down harder than a Vegas gambler with daddy issues. He basically said he'd rather grovel on his knees than admit fault, which, spoiler alert, is exactly what he should have done to save his career. So this was the first crack in his perfect internet persona, and boy, did that crack turn into a full-blown earthquake. Now, if Thor had just taken the L, maybe things would have blown over, but no, this man had bigger plans for career suicide, which brings us to the Stop Killing Games initiative, a petition trying to prevent game publishers from making games unplayable after they shut down servers. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, Thor took one look at this consumer-friendly initiative and decided to become its biggest enemy. Ross from Accursed Farms spent months crafting this petition to help gamers keep access to games they paid for. It needed 1 million signatures to get legal consideration in the EU, and when Ross reached out to creators for support, Thor didn't just decline, he went full villain mode. He called the initiative garbage, awful, and complete trash.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass.
The man was more pressed about this petition than a Karen at Starbucks with a broken espresso machine. But here's the problem. Thor completely misunderstood what the initiative was even asking for. He kept ranting about how publishers would have to support games forever, which literally wasn't what the petition said. It was like watching someone argue with their own shadow and losing. Ross even made a frequently asked questions video to clear up misconceptions, but Thor was too busy being wrong and loud about it to actually listen. So the backlash was swift and brutal. Charles even made a video calling out Thor's terrible take, and suddenly millions of people realized their beloved game dev guru was actually just a corporate shill with a god complex.
He didn't even get the Cliff Notes summary right. He missed all the QTEs and got the bad ending on understanding the initiative from the jump here. I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so out of control, I feel like he's only a week or two away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's the truth, cause Pirate Software said so. Some shit like that. It's crazy.
And from there, the comments on Thor's videos turned into roast sessions that would make Comedy Central jealous. People were saying stuff like achievement unlocked, being wrong on all levels, and honestly, they weren't wrong. Now, any normal person would have seen the writing on the wall and maybe, I don't know, admitted they messed up, but Thor's ego was writing checks his career couldn't cash. Instead of apologizing, he doubled down again, tweeting that he was going to keep opposing the initiative no matter what. It was like watching someone pour gasoline on a fire, then complaining about the heat. And let me tell you, the internet was just warming up, because the results of this was Thor losing followers at lightning speed. We are talking about losing over 100,000 Twitch followers in July alone, dropping from 15,000 average viewers to 4,000, and watching his YouTube subscriber count plummet by hundreds of thousands. His own fans were jumping ship like rats fleeing the Titanic, except the Titanic was Thor's ego and the iceberg was his inability to say sorry. Things got so bad that Thor had to step away from Off-Brand Games, the studio he co-founded with Ludwig, but even then, he couldn't just be honest about it. He claimed people were review bombing their games, but when folks actually checked, there was no evidence of mass negative reviews. So not only was he destroying his own career, he was lying about it too. The man really said, let me add some fraud allegations to my reputation speedrun. But wait, there's more. Remember how Thor used to roast other developers for bad coding practices? Well, turns out his own game, Heartbound, had code so messy it looked like it was written by a caffeinated squirrel. When coding experts started analyzing his work, they found inconsistent formatting, confusing variable names, and basically everything Thor used to criticize other developers for. The hypocrisy was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then came the smart fridge incident. Thor claimed his game was so well optimized it could run on a smart fridge. Sounds impressive, right? Yeah, wrong. Turns out he was just streaming the game from a laptop to the fridge screen, so it was kinda like claiming you can fly because you took a picture on an aeroplane. So let's just say the secondhand embarrassment was real. And throughout all this chaos, Thor kept mentioning he worked at Blizzard.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment. And I mean, constantly. Like, bro, we get it. You had a job once, but the way he brought it up in every conversation made it seem like he thought his Blizzard badge was some kind of immunity idol against criticism. But clearly it wasn't. Now, the most frustrating part of this whole situation is that Thor had multiple opportunities to course correct. After the World at Warcraft incident, the Stop Killing Games backlash, after losing hundreds of thousands of followers, at any point he could have just said, you know what, I messed up, my bad. But his ego wouldn't let him. It was like watching someone choose to drown instead of grabbing the life jacket. Even when Stop Killing Games initiative reached its goal and proved Thor wrong, he still couldn't admit defeat. He posted graphs trying to show his videos didn't hurt the campaign, which was like an arsonist claiming the fire would have happened anyway. The mental gymnastics were Olympic level. And here's the thing that really gets me. Thor used to give advice about imposter syndrome and overcoming fear of failure. He'd tell people that everyone makes mistakes and the important thing is to keep going.
But when it came time to practice what he preached, he folded faster than a lawn chair in a hurricane. And now the man's gone from being a respected voice in game development to averaging 4,000 viewers who are mostly there to watch the train wreck continue. His chat is filled with people telling him to just apologize, but he's still out here acting like the victim. So what's the lesson here? Well, it's pretty simple. Pride comes before the fall, and Thor's pride was skyscraper tall. He had everything: a loyal fan base, respect in the gaming community, multiple revenue streams, and a bright future. But he threw it all away because he couldn't handle being wrong about a video game petition. Therefore, Pirate Software didn't just lose everything. He actively chose to lose everything rather than swallow his pride for 5 seconds. And honestly, that might be the most expensive ego trip in internet history. The man really said, I'd rather tank my career than admit I was wrong about helping gamers, and somehow thought that was the winning play. So yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and always remember that sometimes the real treasure isn't the friends we made along the way, it's knowing when to say sorry before you lose them all.